Good evening. My name is Minister Johnny Banks Sr. I'm the Executive Director of Anaka Midnight. Hey, it's good to be back on the show, bringing you the viewing audience some information and talk about different topics and have a lively banning discussion with you, the viewing audience. We were out last week. We were very busy doing our work in the community, and we couldn't make it last week, but we're glad to be back here now. We are on the cusp of a presidential election. We're on the cusp of a new day. Whether we will continue to see the change that we have seen for the last 4 years, or will we have to acquiesce to something different? Right now, I feel very confident that the president will be reelected. I feel very confident in the fact that in the next years of his presidency, he can do great things for not only this country, but the world in which we live in, and continue to grow us and develop us as we move forward to a new day. So I'm always excited when when we have available people who are deep thinkers, people who are committed to purpose, who are trying to make something happen for no more than just themselves, but that will benefit those around him and those that we come in contact with. Just some of the things that we're trying to do at Anaka Midnight: benefit the children, benefit the youth that we work with, benefit their lives, grow their lives, help them develop not only to be to what they want to be, but hopefully also go further than that and be what God created them to be. And so we take that mission very seriously. We're committed to that purpose, that the development of children is paramount, and is primary to what we do and why we get up each and every morning. So we're girding up our staff, we're girding up the people that's close to us, those who will support us, to simply help us continue to move the proposition forward. There's nothing wrong with our children, but we have given them something that's inferior, and we must make work to change that stimulus so that they'll have a better chance to succeed in a world that looks like they should not succeed at all. One of the things I wanted to talk about, and I would like people to call in. You can see our call-in number right in front of you at 312-738-1060, is the development not only of our people, but the development of people in America. How do you see it? Do people have a chance to be anything in this world? Do they have a chance to succeed in this world? Is that possible? And what are some of the things that would make that a reality? And so we're going to talk a little bit about development, psychosocial development, social development, psychological development. What are some of the things that we can do to help people move forward in their everyday life, trying to get better, trying to be exposed to conditions that would allow them to create a life for themselves and a life that's worth living. One of the renowned social analysts of our time, Erik Erikson, created something called the 8 stages of development. And as you can see it in the overhead, those stages of development is 2 to 4 years. Young people having hope. So from birth to 2 years, having hope, being able to live up and have expectations, not only of yourself, but other people around you. 2 to 4 years, having the will, the strength of character to do for themselves, with the question being, is it okay to be me? Then we have from 4 to 5 years of sense of purpose, dealing with principle and dealing with function, which also brings forth the question from an existential question: is it okay for me to do, to move, and to act? And then we have from 5 to 12 years, those years of competency, where we deal with the ability to be versus feeling inferior to those who are capable of doing. We deal with the existential question: can I make it in the world of people and things, with the people that are around us and the things that are going on? All people want to know, can they make it? And we look at the whole thing about aptitude, being able to utilize the tools that are given to you and master those tools, have a sense of mastery, have a sense of competency. You'll find out that in a lot of our educational arenas, that word competence is thrown around a lot. Being competent in math, being competent in spelling, being competent in reading, competent in writing. And those aptitude tests are some of the things that we measure that by, are used in those formidable years so we can gauge what people really are in terms of their ability to learn and their ability to acquire knowledge and utilize that knowledge effectively to get the outcomes that they are looking for. Then we have 13 to 19, where we talk about fidelity, being able to commit to something. Are we developing people who have a sense of commitment, a sense of commitment to their own purpose, a sense of commitment to their community, a sense of commitment to their family. That's what that word fidelity means, the sense of commitment, dealing with their peers, fashioning role models for themselves, and then start to ask the question, who am I? What can I be? How can I become what I want to be? And start to developing those social relationships that shape the answer to the question, because social relationships generally start to formulate for people who they are going to be and start to answer the question, the innermost question, what can I be? Then we start talking about 20 to 24 years of love, intimacy versus isolation, the friendships that we build, the partnerships, the coalitions, the collaborations that we start to develop love in and around. Then we ask the question, am I capable of loving? You know, that's not only romantic relationships. Those are platonic relationships. Those are marriage relationships. As all of those things are kind of morphed in there together, where you'll start understanding the character of a person, what are they doing, how they're doing it, as they start to go into the years of love. And then we have from 25 to 65, the years of care. Virtue, one of the most virtuous things is the ability to care, to show concern, not only for yourself, but show concern for your neighbor, to be able to absolutely love your neighbor as you love yourself, to give care. Where we start dealing with this question of, as people get into this realm, they start wanting to know, am I on this earth for nothing? Why was I born? What am I going to do? Does my life really mean anything? Does my life count? Can my life count? Will my life count? What kind of legacy will I leave? What's going to be here after I'm gone? And it's sad to say that these are the times that people create their own obituaries. They create their own life resumes. They create the things that people will remember them by as they get ready to leave this world physically. And then the last but not least, at the 65 and over, as we start to experience something called death, but it's also the bastion of wisdom. As are you now capable of giving what you've learned from 0 to 65 years and leave it to people in good enough care that they can actually get something from it. You know, when we start talking about being wise or being elders, giving direction to your community, giving direction to your family, giving direction to your vocation, giving direction and leaving hope for those who are behind you, having to deal with that whole strength of character and developing will in people. You know, the principleness and function of purpose, as we try to teach people that. And wisdom goes back up the ladder, and it teaches all things. You know, that's it. You can talk about getting understanding, you can talk about getting knowledge, but the principal thing to get is wisdom. And so as we went through the chart, as I went through the chart with you, I really want you to understand, and I just really want you to call in, because now we got to ask the question. Now we could just relate it to tomorrow's election and whether people are going to vote or not. Do you have trust in who you're voting for? Do you have trust that these things that have we've already seen before us? It's amazing how in 2001, right after 9/11 happened, the president at that time had a 90% approval rating, and it slowly slipped down. And we see that our current president, he still has a good approval rating. He's still doing the things that he said he'd do. He's making this world a better place, not only for myself, but for you as well. But do we trust our own selves to pick up the slack in our own lives and do the things that we need to do to make this world a better place for yourself and others? That's real. So when we start talking about hope, we start talking about trust. And when we start talking about trust, yes, you have to trust in God, but do you trust in yourself? That you can pull yourself through situations, that you can pull yourself through at moments of lack and moments where you don't have the things that you need, that you can pull yourself through and not only just stay on hope. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about going to the next strength of that whole principle, which is simply trust. Trusting in your abilities, trusting in your skills, trusting in your ability to create what you need. Do you trust yourself? Or do you walk around with a series and a gargantuan amount of mistrust, and so that you can't even function normally because of the defect called mistrust. And when we generally have mistrust, that mistrust does cause discomfort. It causes displeasure. It generally precedes or pushes a person, I'm sorry, to want to do something to alleviate those feelings of mistrust. And we start looking for people that we think we can believe in. And so instead of believing in that which is right, true, and just, we start believing in personalities. And those personalities generally let us down. So we must go from hope to trust. Next, we must deal with the whole question of will. The will to be what you were created to be. Are you okay with being yourself? Are you okay with developing yourself? We spend so much time trying to develop other people. Let me give a good example. It is amazing how, and this doesn't apply to all people, but I'm just giving an example. It seems like it's much easier for a male to develop children that is not his own than developing children that are his. Why wouldn't you want to develop yourself? Why wouldn't you want to develop that which extends from you? Well, generally what happens is, since I won't commit to anything and I won't commit to what I need to commit to, then I will show my lack of commitment to that which I brought into the world by spending a whole lot of time and resources trying to prove a point by developing that which I did not bring into the world. And many times and in many situations, those people show you a very, very in-depth lack of love and appreciation. And it comes from a lack of appreciation from the caregiver mother or the significant other that you've chose. When in retrospect, if you look back, the person that you had children by, all they wanted you to do was help them develop what looks just like you. So if you can't develop yourself and you can't develop what looks like you, then you will compromise by trying to develop what looks the opposite of you, and that you have no spiritual ties to, and you have no mental ties to. It's all emotional, physical ties, and that leads to whims and whimsical behavior based on what you want to do and what you don't want to do. We have any callers on the line? Let's take a call. Call, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, good evening.
Hello, how are you?
Good. What's your question or comment?
Do you think that if Mitt Romney wins, we're going to be faced with going to war in the Middle East?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Do you think that if Mitt Romney wins, we're going to be faced with going to war in the Middle East?
Well, we're already at war in the Middle East. Yes, I would like to say we were going to go to war, but I can answer your question by simply saying we're already at war. Now, whether the war escalates, I don't have knowledge of such. I don't want to speculate what can or can't happen, what might or might not happen, because to do that would take out the reality that this world lives and this world is ran on a universal principle called cause and effect, and where there is war, that it has to be replaced by love. Now, whether or not we see it in our time, I'm not sure. Whether or not we see it in a short period of time, I'm not sure. But for me to speculate whether is or not going to be war, I don't know. But I would like to believe that we have enough domestic problems to not be so much worried about the world stuff and the international stuff. New York and New Jersey has been devastated by weather, and devastated by the hurricane, devastated by the nor'easter that's showing up now. See, I think if we become more concerned about the issues of today that's on our shores, then we would be better equipped to spread whatever camaraderie, whatever love we have for one and another here. We're able to spread it other places, and I don't think that we would have to go to war, but that would be the call of some other people. I don't concern myself with that. I'm concerned myself with the simple fact that who's going to help continue to fix the housing crisis? Who's going to help to continue to get unemployment and jobs back into this country? Who's going to deal with some of the issues that are pressing when people cannot eat, when every house is lacking this or every house is lacking that? And I'm talking about the houses and the people that I work with and the people that I do my service with. I'm really concerned about those things. I'm concerned about the inadequacy of education in America, the inadequacy of education in Illinois, the inadequacy of education in Chicago, and putting in place the things that we need for this century that will push our children to a new level of competency, increase their aptitude, and give them the chance to simply ask the question, is it really okay for me to do, act, and move in this world as a free American citizen? I'm really concerned about that. And so those are the things that I think we need to be concerned about as we move forward with this election. And Mitt Romney shall not win. Let's take another caller. Yes, caller.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Great.
Doing great. I just want to make a quick comment.
Thank you.
You know, as far as elections go, what we're missing and we have a right to vote, but what we're missing is an education piece.
Okay.
Because we're not educated. We're really actually not equipped to vote and choose people that we can have faith in.
That's right.
Because what we need to do is we need to find a person from among us, get that person and groom that person, and then put those persons up to be elected. You know, as it is right now, we go to the polls. Most people don't even know what ward they live in. They don't know what congressional district they live in, and we're voting for the same people every election. And they got a job. That's all they do, and they have absolutely no there's no checks. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing to check them with because they know they're going to get elected.
Okay.
So we need an education piece where the community can say, hey, listen, man, these are the things that we want. So we're going to present these things and find someone to go get those things for us.
Caller, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
You're
your
very
comments.
welcome.
I would truly like to believe that there is an educational juggernaut around voting and voting rights going on somewhere. We're just not privy to that, or we don't have that luxury, or we don't participate in it when we see it. See, one of the things that keep us in a quagmire as a people is that when one of us rise up, or one of us need to be held up. I'm not going to say rise up, because someone always comes out of the midst of the people. But we won't rally around the person, or we won't rally around the people. You know, we believe in the hype. We believe in what the media portrayal, whether it's positive or negative. We don't do any of the groundwork or the homework on our own. And education starts with the ability to work through some of their own problems that you see, and really work with them. So we don't have an educated vote. We really don't. And we need to fix that. People like myself and you, who may feel that way, we're the ones that we can educate a precinct, and maybe we get somebody else to educate a precinct. Then that ward become educated, and then maybe we can go from one ward to all the wards. So it is a participant type of thing. And I'll use an example. If it comes right from the Declaration of Independence, it says we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by that Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Then it goes on to say, in order to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. It did not say that it had to be in any particular venue. It could be in my home, as I'm instituting government, and in my home, and I'm teaching the branches of government. I'm teaching how it works and why it works. That starts right in my own home, in my own humble abode, hut or hamlet, wherever I'm living at. That's on me, and so we need to start it right at home. We have another call on the line. Caller, how you doing?
I'm fine.
Good. What's your question or comment?
I wanted to know, do you think Obama's going to win this election?
Well, I think that because I'm going to vote for him. I think that because I think he's the better of the two candidates. I think that because his accomplishments, with all manner of adversity and no support in the House of Representatives, with many people coming against his presidency. And see, if he wins now, I think that those who have been against him for the last 4 years will simply toe the line and try to work with him better, knowing that he has the strength of not having to worry about being reelected again, that he has the fortitude and the vision that we need to move this country forward. Some of the things that he's done, history would tell that they were strokes of genius. Bailing out the auto industry, a stroke of genius. Bringing back and dealing with the questions and the issues with terrorism, as we have known it. Standing up and dealing with the hard questions, with some of the very, very hard issues. But there's no harder issue than dealing with the constant attack of his own people right here on this soil. Any lesser of a man would have buckled under already. But he has kept himself in a principled way. He has kept himself in an honorable way. He has kept himself presidential. And I think that is something that we need to look at as we go out tomorrow, knowing that if this man gets 4 more years, that by the time he's done, as the jobless rate has constantly gone down, as I believe, but if he gets 4 more years, it'll be cut in half, or it'll be down to probably 3%. That things will turn around, that the housing market will rebound, that the financial problems that we've been having, that they'll go away. But I'm only interested in one thing, and that is the education of our people. We must improve our education. We must improve our educational system. Our teachers and our educators must be honored and respected and given the tools they need to teach our children. Our parents must be getting involved with the education of our children, and we pray that our government will make provision in America for any child to be better educated to compete, not only in a global market and in a global economy, but in a technological society where comprehension and aptitude is serious and is paramount to learning. We cannot go down the road as we're going now. Our little kids cannot come home without books, the basic necessities to learn, as they have sheets of paper to do homework and not books to study. Our schools cannot be bastions of violence and hate and the things that are going on. We have to change the structure of education in America, not just in the black community, not just in the barrios, but in every community in this country. Education needs to change. And we got to work on that, and we can't let it go. Let's take another call. The caller hung up. Listen, if anybody wants to call in, my name is Minister Johnny Banks. We're at 312-738-1060. We're really talking about the development of our children. We're talking about the development of our community. We're talking about simply bringing forth and making better that which we already know. Revisiting some of the things I said earlier, dealing with trust and the issues that they bring, dealing with the ability to will into existence that which you need, that cares for you and that helps other people. Those things are real. Having a purpose and a principled life, that is something that, well, let's take another call. We have another caller. Caller, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, caller. Even the children want to have something to say. So as we get ready to close out another show, I want to thank the audience, thank those who took the opportunity to call and give your opinion, because this is the time where we stand up. We have a lot to say. I encourage everybody to get out to the polls tomorrow, vote for the candidates of your choice, but pay very close attention to our judges. These are the people that judge our children, that are putting them in that are judging whether they stay free or whether they're incarcerated. We need to realize that there's a lot of voting going on tomorrow in the presidential election. There's some other stuff. I've had an opportunity to talk with some of the judges. I'm grateful for the ones I've known, the ones I've met, and I would encourage you all, let's vote. Let's think about this. You got a night. Look up some of these names. Look and see who's doing this, who's doing what. Become educated quickly if you can. Do the things that you need to do. And tomorrow, we're going to celebrate tomorrow. We're going to have a good time. We're going to be thankful for that God has once again brought the best that we have to offer to help brighten our future. Again, my name is Minister Johnny Banks Sr. I'm Executive Director of A Knock at Midnight. We can be reached at 773-488-2960. As always, remember, in the darkest hour, truth and knowledge is the way. God bless you and good evening.